Meeting under order this Tuesday, September 3rd, 2019 at 3 p.m. Can you please call the roll?
Yes. Is Suresh from Caltrans and Commissioner Heidi Keim, Commissioner Blake Inscore.
I'm here.
Commissioner Chris Howard.
Present.
Commissioner Jerry Hemmingston.
I'm here.
Commissioner Roger Gitlin. And Chair Alex Fallman.
Here. Would you all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? And pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll now take up public comment. Anybody wishing to make any public comment can do so now. Nope. No public comment. Okay. Next, we'll adjourn to the Policy Advisory Committee, where we'll take up our consent agenda. We have the minutes, the TDA fund allocation, the certifications and assurances for transit funds, and local street and needs assessment.
Move to approve. Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any public comment? None? Okay, can you pull the vote?
Yes, I can. All those in favor, correct?
No, we have to do it.
Individually. Yeah.
Oh, yes, and so we have Suresh.
Aye.
And Commissioner Blake Inscore.
Yes.
Commissioner Chris Howard.
Yes.
Commissioner Jerry Hemston is not here, correct?
No, I'm here.
Oh, Jerry's, okay, thank you. And Commissioner,
Yes, I'm voting yes.
excuse me, Chair Alex Fallman.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Motion passes. We'll move on to our discussion items, starting off with last chance grade.
I don't have anything new to report, but I do have something unusual to report from last chance grade. You might be interested to log into, maybe Lost Coast Outpost will get this posted first, but there were some community concerns about the light not working at last chance grade and yesterday, and I understand a lot of chatter about it, but actually what happened is Caltrans had to come in and hand signal the lighted intersection rather than using the light because there was a overloaded or improperly loaded truck that spilled fish guts on the highway, which are not only, probably smelly and all of those things, but they're also pretty slick. And they were having a hard time getting traffic through there. So if you hear any concerns about that, it wasn't a failure of the traffic lights. It was a improperly loaded truck of some sort. I don't have a lot of details on it. I expect that we'll get more information maybe from a newspaper, but just in case you guys, because you would be ones to hear about it. It wasn't a failure of the light system at last chance grade. There's a stakeholder meeting on September 11th, and those who are involved in the stakeholder process should have the agenda materials for that. We're moving forward with that stakeholder process as agreed. I believe this will be the last meeting that the Transportation Commission is paying for through the stakeholder process, and then Caltrans will continue with the process seamlessly, but we will no longer be footing the bill for that, and we shouldn't because it's an initiated project, and so they have plenty of money awarded to this project at this time to take care of that little piece. So that's all I have on last chance grade.
Okay. How about U.S. intersection at Elk Valley Crossroad?
There was a terrible accident there, exactly at that intersection. I don't have facts about it. My understanding, I contacted Caltrans, and I thought I got press releases, but I guess I didn't. Unless it's a fatality accident, they don't send out press releases, so I don't have any information about that. But I have been getting consistent information, speaking of the Lost Coast Outpost, from the Lost Coast Outpost about injury accidents or even road hazards. I mean, anything at all transportation. On their website, they have a Wild River section now, and they've got some kind of stream that feeds into that. And it could be just crowdsourcing. It could be people in the community sending something forward. I'm not really sure how that information is sent to them, but if you see something on the road and you want to know a little bit more about it, that might be our best source right now for immediate information. So take a look at Lost Coast Outpost. I know that our former triplicate reporter Jessica Senier is now working for that group, and she seems to be doing, a good and diligent job. So it's an outlet that I haven't paid much attention to that seems to be doing a good job in our area. So I don't have more information about US 199 intersection at Elk Valley Crossroad in addition to that. I am, however, trying to find an efficient way to capture the information that streams in and put it in a map. We were going to put it in our commonplace map, and that's might become more difficult, more time consuming than we can reasonably pay to have every single something put into that map. I'm still looking into it. So I'm trying to find a way to capture the information that streams in from Lost Coast Outpost. The reason why that could be important is if we are looking for funding for an area and all we get is from the Switters is injury and fatality, that this is going to be a broader statement about accidents, even the PDOs, the property damage only accidents. So all of the information that you can get to support a project can be helpful, even if it's only substantiated at what this one news outlet. It's better than no information. So I think that it's worthwhile to find a way to capture that, and I'm working on it.
California Transportation Commission meeting planning.
So we met again today, and I'm looking for my notes that were just in front of me. So we met again today. We had sort of a rough sketch out the kind of things that we want to include in the November 6th meeting. And we looked at flying the commissioners in earlier so we could fit a little bit more in, but those things aren't going to work out. We're going to have a one-day meeting. The one-day meeting is going to start at about 8:30 in the morning. It's going to end at 5 in the afternoon, and that will be the duration of our time with the California Transportation Commission members. They will have an option of attending a State Senator McGuire after our town hall meeting. It's up to them whether they opt in or out of that meeting, but that's where we are with that. I'm expecting that some of them will opt in and attend State Senator McGuire's meeting, but I would be surprised if all of them did. So how this looks like it's working out is they'll go to the Requa Inn when they arrive on the flight the evening before landing here in Crescent City. We'll have a dinner of some sort, a light dinner ready for them, perhaps hearty soups, bread, salad, something, where we'll just figure out, numbers, and the Requa Inn will take care of that. They'll have breakfast in the morning and we'll leave first thing. They'll have an information session and tour of Last Chance Grade. We'll take a break at perhaps the harbor area, like the harbor conference room, and 15-minute snack and bathroom break, kind of just comfort. And then we'll have an urban area partnership tour where it's our partners, the city, the county, the tribes, whoever has something that they want to talk about, show. We're figuring out all the details on that. We're going to be continuing to work out content. We're going to be talking about some things, and I talked to the CT staff about this, in particular on Friday, how there's a distinct challenge with the emergency funding and the reality of the emergency project schedule. I know that the city and county are both struggling with this right now, that you have a 1 hour of work and 60 minutes to get it done in, as an example. An hour takes an hour, takes an hour, takes an hour, and you cannot do an hour in 60 minutes. And the process that we have sets up rural coastal communities to fail, because there's no way to cram in all of the steps in the short time frame. The reason why it's important to explain this, maybe in a side-by-side schedule to the CTC, is because they are the ones who award extensions for those funds. And their history in the past is to say no. They nearly never say yes to an extension on emergency funding. And so I talked to the group today, and I think it may not solve our problems for our bluff erosion right now, but I think in the long run, it's going to be a good and positive step to getting a more realistic timeline on emergency funding, or a more flexible acceptance of a delay and award for more time. So it's, one of the many things that we'll be doing in that meeting. The focus is going to be on show them more than tell them. And so before the meeting part, after we do the urban area partnership tour, I got sidetracked, we'll have lunch at Seaquake. They will have already filled out their menu selection items, so we can be pretty efficient when we're there. And then we'll have a driving tour to up US 199, come back down on 197, cross over the Dr. Fine Bridge, which is a pretty huge allocation that's coming in front of them in the next, few years, depending on litigation. Break, snack, flex time if needed, and then that's when our town hall meeting will start at 3:30. We need to be done by 5. So that's our roughed out schedule. We'll be continuing to meet just about monthly with the partners who are participating to continue to, define the content, get things really nailed down so the meeting runs smoothly. We're not doing overlap. We don't need 2 presentations, for example, about bluff erosion emergency funding and the timelines being unworkable. So there's going to be collaboration about those things. There are some other folks who are going to be invited, that probably Rural Counties Task Force, North State Super Region. They'll have little portions on the agenda. We've got it roughed out right now for 10 minutes for each organization or agency. I don't know if everybody will need that much time, but that's kind of how we have it roughed out right now. So then they get up, they have dinner at the Requa Inn, whether that's an early dinner, a late dinner, depending on if they're attending the Senator McGuire's meeting or not. That's really up to them. And then we'll get them to the airport by 5:30 leave by 5:30 for a 6 o'clock check-in and a 7 o'clock departure in the morning.
Where is the town hall going to be?
Here.
Here.
Mm-hmm.
What expectation, other than obviously being at the town hall, do you have for any of us on the local transportation commission?
I don't have any expectation. I really don't. I don't have expectation. I don't think that you'll need to be giving a presentation. We'll probably do some kind of welcome. That may be Alex, that may be Chris who does the welcome. Chris knows some of these folks that, we'll work out that detail, but that's not going to be a 30-minute welcome to our community. That's going to be a 3-minute welcome to our community. Sure. We'll have spent time with them throughout the day talking about project-specific stuff, showing and not telling, and there's not a big expectation for your participation other than, showing up, saying hi. And even at some of the break time, if you wanted to show up at the harbor during that break that we're going to have a check-in, talk to a couple of them then in a less formal environment. In the middle of this meeting, we'll have a break, so you'll be able to have some direct communication then. But it's, as far as I know, it's a staff-led presentation about specific challenges topics, the reason why things are working great, the things that aren't working great. So, the Sunset Circle project, they'll get a look at that and, where we are on that, because that's important to them.
Sure.
The pedestrian access and the active transportation program is very important to them. A lot of this will be, we have a significant time, 45 minutes, allotted to Caltrans to talk about their big projects, Last Chance Grade, US 199, Dr. Fine Bridge. Congressman Huffman's staff will probably be joining in that process to talk about the stakeholder process and how that is working and coming together and moving alongside with the project.
What's the date?
November 6th, they arrive on the evening of the 5th. The meeting day is the 6th, and they'll leave on the 7th, November.
It's Wednesday, right? The 6th? Okay. Well, just for whatever it's worth, Tamara, I will clear that day. And so anything that, if you want any of us or myself, just to be around, to ride along, I would be happy to do so, but I don't want to be in the way. So
Okay.
you just let me know what I can do to be helpful.
Yeah, thank you. I'll keep that in mind. We'll see how it all comes together. I know that the project manager for our bigger projects, like Last Chance Grade 199, they'll be with us, but as far as we know right now, and this may change, everybody's not going to be in one vehicle. And so I want to keep everybody on point with communication, and so we'll have talking points for each project as we move through, so they're not getting different information because they're in a different vehicle. So we'll be working out the details of those things, and probably Caltrans and I will be working those things out, and we'll see. We are going to have a conversation with RoboCoast Transit about possibly using a vehicle of theirs. I don't know how that could work, but I'll be talking to Joe Rye about if it would work. Well, I just don't know if we're using, I don't know if that's if it's an allowed use of a transit vehicle.
If you pay for it, yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
We did. I mean, we used it with the sister city, but we contracted it out. So
Okay. Yeah,
Assuming that was okay. Since we've done it multiple times and
Yes.
paid that entity,
yeah, that's a nice assumption, and I'm going to make sure before I do it. So
they did not donate it. It was paid for.
Right. I get that.
Yeah,
I get that. But that's a
Well,
nice
if we're gonna have
assumption. But
the Transportation Commission here, it's probably good that we have that one nailed down right.
it's one of those sort of can't you just borrow it? Anytime you put can't you just in front of
No.
something,
Yep.
the answer is no. So it may totally be allowable, but I'm going to make sure before I jump into that one.
Good idea.
The Elk Valley Rancheria has offered a 9-passenger van. I think that we could.
How big is the commission?
6 members so far have confirmed. It's a 9-member commission, so that's a pretty significant group. There will probably be three staff members joining them. So, yeah, it's a good group for this kind of town hall meeting. I think they're very interested in the things that are coming their way from us.
Very excited.
Any other questions for the director? Okay, well then we'll move on to commissioner comments and reports. Okay, Eileen, yeah, just on the discussion items, yeah. I mean, that's what we just took up, so if you want to comment on those real fast, go for it.
She's getting it.
Eileen Cooper, Vice President of the Friends of Del Norte. The environmental groups, Friends of Del Norte as well as EPIC. does consider ourselves a vital part of the planning and future for transportation in this community, and we expect to have a representative and time slot allotted for speaking, along with other prime groups. Key issues, as you know, for us have been last chance grade, as well as Highway 199 and 197. And we give a unique perspective on that is important for all to hear. So we are a fully participating important constituent. Also, on these discussion items, the US 199 intersection at Elk Valley Crossroads, I don't know. I just would like to say how valuable and this overall safety presentation is. And it calls for me into question why we are doing some things ahead of other things. That this is the horse that should come before the cart. And I think, and I see very immediately, as the consultants did, other areas that are far more important for us to address than the Elk Valley Crossroads area. We just don't have the accident rate there. And we should have been on the ball ahead with the Washington intersections at Northcrest and also Parkway. But also the Elk Valley Road project, there's so few places of issue, except the one that we could have really gotten ahead on at Howland Hill Junction there. So I hope that's a lesson learned there, that the safety study points you in the right direction. I wanted to come here for public comment. Your bus system does not allow, so it does not get you here, but just 5 minutes after the hour. So if public comment could be held off 5 or so minutes past the hour, that would be helpful, because I use your public transportation.
We're at 3 minutes for public.
Yeah, I have 7 seconds to go on my clock.
What's that?
Okay.
You have
Sorry,
7.
I just like to say that something very important that came out at Mr. Wood's barbecue, Democratic barbecue, is that we need to change our transportation. What's that now?
That is your cue.
That's your time is up.
That's your cue, yeah.
Well, this is of some importance, and your buses didn't get me in here in time, but
Yeah. This is not our buses.
you need to switch your transportation system over to green energy. And right now, we all need to lobby that we are allowed to have grant funds to do that. All right, thank you.
Director.
Just as, an issue of importance, our council, Autumn Luna, has recommended that we do everything we can to limit the public, unless we take a vote, that we're going to suspend the meeting rules and extend the time, but that requires a vote of a majority of the folks here. So everybody needs to find a way to respect that. Otherwise, we'll need to take additional enforcement steps that I really don't want to do. So that's so everybody understands. That's the information that I have from Council Luna, and she directed me to share that when the next opportunity came up
Got it.
And so, again, it takes a vote of the commission to suspend the rules of the meeting, and then you can continue to listen to somebody who's a member of the public and extending their time.
Got it. Okay, we didn't have any commissioner comments or reports, so we will adjourn as the Policy Advisory Committee, reconvene as the DNLTC, and by polled vote, approve and adopt the actions taken by the Policy Advisory Committee and the items listed above.
Approve the actions of the Policy Advisory Committee.
Second?
Motion and a second. Can you please poll the vote?
Yes. Commissioner Blake Inscore?
Yes.
Commissioner Chris Howard?
Yes.
Commissioner Jerry Hemingston?
Yes.
And Commissioner Chair Alex Fallman?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, motion passes. We'll adjourn until the regular meeting on Tuesday, October 1st at 3.
Okay.